Hello, welcome to Are You Convinced? Episode 12, The Star Wars Theories.
You're getting bigger and bigger with these intros.
I try to. We're getting bigger and bigger, or at least our heads are. Episode 12. We have lots more episodes than Star Wars, which is what we're talking about this week. We're talking about Star Wars theories. Because you know what happens next week, Damon?
Yeah, I know what happens.
Last Jedi comes out.
It does.
I'm super excited.
Yeah, it's going to be good. When are you seeing it, by the way?
Midnight on Wednesday.
Oh, you bastard. Are there still tickets available? Or?
Maybe. You could try.
I'll have a look. I'll check it out.
I'm really old and I really can't do that anymore.
No.
But Star Wars, I make an exception.
You'll make an exception? Yeah. No, I don't know that I can either. And I think I'll just get grumpy at the crowds. Maybe I'll leave it till 9 o'clock on Thursday or something.
It's a really good vibe though.
Yeah, I'm sure it would be.
Yeah. And you get to that really tedious point when they play ads. They still do ads for 30 minutes. And you're just like, couldn't we have done this?
But my worst thing is that I still have to get there for the ads.
Yeah.
Because I live in fear of missing the beginning of the movie.
You just never know. But you get a good solid half hour. You do know.
That's right. Exactly. And it's all assigned seating now, so there's no risk of not getting in.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just old-fashioned, Jim.
I am very, very excited for that. It's going to be awesome.
It's going to be big.
But I mean, in the lead up to it, everybody wants to talk Star Wars and their theories and what's going to happen, and that's what we're doing.
That's
we're
right.
We're going to be like everybody else.
We're going to do that right now. I did make the joke right before we started recording that the most important thing in the world right now is that we discuss fictional theories about fictional characters in a world that doesn't exist.
Yes, because that's really important. And when you said it, I was just like, wait, do we really need to do this episode? Like,
I feel really bad
all of a sudden, this just feels completely irrelevant and not...
I mean, these movies are basically just toy commercials, and my childhood is in tatters all of a sudden.
It just does not matter in the grand scheme of my life.
Oh, but it does though, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Because you and I were both raised around Star Wars.
Yeah. Oh, that was some of the earliest films I remember watching. I obviously wouldn't have seen the originals in the cinemas.
No.
But that was sort of VHS or...
I went and saw the premiere of A New Hope. But when they started calling it A New Hope, the special editions.
So it was like 97 or something?
Yeah, I think so. About then.
When they did the re-release, with the extra footage.
And I was too young to realize... Actually, I was going to say I was too young to realize that they actually took a classic film and ruined it. But A New Hope, I think, fared the best out of all the movies in terms of its... there's the Jabba bit.
Yeah, okay.
CGI'd
and that was really bad in the 97 version.
But in 1997, I don't know how many people realized how bad it was. It was this is a bit weird. Jabba's in it now. It looks. But I think now it dated quickly.
Yeah, well, I mean, they've updated it. It still looks bad, but yeah.
They couldn't just leave it alone, could they?
No.
They still had to go back to those special editions and put more stuff in them. And Darth Vader shouts "No" now at the end. And
George, just stop.
Just stop, George.
Stop.
Is that before we go into? We're way off run sheet. We've been talking for how long, and we haven't even touched the run sheets. It's a good thing, isn't it, that George Lucas isn't involved anymore?
I think so. He had some weird ideas. He didn't really like Force Awakens, but.
Yeah,
that's okay. You
fine.
sold it. It's too bad.
Exactly. But yeah, I mean, the last time you made an executive decision on Star Wars, George, we got the prequels.
Yeah, we got Gungans.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, and Ewoks before that.
And a hatred for sand.
I hated sand before that movie. I want to throw that out there.
Shall we talk? We are heading into The Last Jedi. What do we think is going to happen? What's going to play out in this new movie?
You got to say Disney's marketing has been genius, hasn't it?
They're throwing things at us that we're meant to think one thing, but it's clearly a subterfuge.
But I'd argue it started even earlier though. Like when we got Episode 7, they did such a good job with Force Awakens at keeping the details quiet.
Yeah.
Remember when we all thought it would be about Finn?
Yeah,
I think it's fair to say.
Yeah.
And then it turns out Rey's actually the protagonist, and it was a very pleasant surprise. I thought you get a female protagonist, and I want to know her story. But of course, that whole movie builds towards the question we've all been asking for 2 years, which is who are her parents?
Yeah, exactly right.
They left that deliberately vague so that for 2 years we'd all be talking about it, looking forward to the next one. What did you think of Force Awakens, by the way?
I've really, really enjoyed it. Seeing I would have been maybe the first 10 minutes in, and I was just like, yes, Star Wars is back. This is
Yeah. So
just that feeling.
What about the haters? What do you think about the people that don't like it, don't enjoy it?
I mean, I guess I understand it. My biggest gripe with The Force Awakens is that it follows fairly closely the plot of A New Hope. And it was strategic in that it's it's nostalgic. You remember the elements, and it brings old fans back, and it brings in a whole lot of new fans. But I can certainly appreciate that would bother some people to just rehash the story again.
I think a lot of people are very unfair on it.
Yeah.
I think it's okay to say it's derivative. That's fine.
Yeah.
All these movies are, though, when you really look down.
Well, A New Hope is based on Hidden Fortress, a Japanese film.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The battle scenes where they're fighting TIE fighters are ripped almost directly, frame for frame, from World War II movies, like when bomber fighters are fighting against Luftwaffe pilots and stuff. So, it's not there's not a lot of originality in these things, and I think that's actually what people like about the prequels.
Okay.
That they're very original and that they take the whole thing in a different path.
Yeah, okay.
It's just a shame they suck. and the CGI is dated.
Who thought that Star Wars needed politics?
No one! George Lucas did, and I'm glad it's out of his hands.
But, we've been introduced in these new movies to some brand new characters. It's sort of a whole new generation. We've got, you got Rey, you got Finn, Kylo Ren, Snoke's a big one.
Snoke's a huge
very masked in mystery. And
that's another thing they've done really well, too. Yeah. Like, you introduce the big bad. You've got the relatable bad in Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
Who's, perfect for all the young boys to get the lunchbox and buy the masks and the T-shirts and stuff. But
we should say, just really quick, this movie's been out for 2 years, but we're probably going to go into
spoilers.
Alert! So,
yeah. And by the way, I sound very bitter and cynical. I love this. I love this movie. I love Kylo Ren. I think he's one of the most interesting villains we've had.
I'm very excited, yeah.
Yeah. Since I would say right now, to me, he's as interesting as Vader in Empire.
Okay, yep.
I mean, in A New Hope, he was just a masked bad guy, wasn't he?
That's true, yeah.
They killed Obi-Wan.
He had no sort of real, what was his motivation or anything.
Exactly. Yeah. But Kylo Ren, even I thought they'd ruined it when he took the mask off.
Okay.
I'm sitting in the cinema going, no, they've done it now. They've blown him. He was so compelling up until this point. And then somehow Adam Driver made him even more compelling,
And I think that's part of what's so compelling is he's
Say compelling. Say compelling again. I dare you.
Say it again.
Compelling ain't no place I've ever heard of. Sorry, go on. Star Wars.
Kylo Ren, one of the most fascinating things about him is that conflict within him and how torn he is. And I think if they continue that's going to make it a very interesting story.
Absolutely.
To see not just this outright evil character,
no,
but you have this torn character who just doesn't know where he fits and
Do you think he's going to turn good?
I think there's a possibility.
Yeah, unfortunately, like
it could be that he turns good, and that we're going to think Rey's going to turn evil, but she doesn't, and in that way, it'll end up mimicking the original trilogy exactly.
Right. Well, I suppose we
thought Luke might turn evil at the end
of Jedi, and then he rocks up with a different colored lightsaber. He's dressed all in black. Force chokes a couple of those.
Yeah, because he does a few very Sith-like things in Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, he manipulates people and just hacks at a whole bunch of people on that sandcrawler, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Just cuts them apart. Although if you watch it back, actually, there's great footage where you see he
doesn't make contact with.
He doesn't get anywhere near him. Yeah, and there's guys. There's one where he goes. I think he kicks a dude, like doesn't get anywhere near it, and the guy just visibly jumps backwards off the thing.
Yeah.
So he's not that good at Jedi.
But so I think there might be some. If that's the case, if they get Kylo to be redeemed, this fear that Rey might turn evil, but I don't think she will. I think we're going to get the same sort of mimicking beat for beat what happened in the original trilogy.
Yeah, as George Lucas loved to say about the prequels, they rhyme. Everything rhymes.
Well, I think he said that about the whole saga. Is the idea is everything sort of mirrors things and happens again.
There's an old thing about trilogies, like The Matrix did the same thing too. The first installment of your trilogy is birth.
Yep.
So you learn everything you need to know. You're introduced to who you need, and the things you need to know get started in that one. The second one is about life, and life is full of trials and decision makings and learnings and
challenges.
And then the third one is ultimately death.
Yeah.
So that doesn't mean someone has to die. Oh boy, there will be deaths.
Oh yes.
Oh wow, will there be deaths in this one or the next one? Carrie Fisher, rest in peace.
Yes.
Beautiful thing that she was. They're going to have to do something about Princess Leia.
They have to address it, don't they?
Well, they can't not.
They can't have her in episode 9 for an extended period of time and have it be
CGI.
They'd have to be CGI, and it'd be awkward if it carried out for too long.
Well, like I said to you earlier, it's different when they CGI'd her young in Rogue One.
Yeah.
And it's different with Peter Cushing because he's been dead for years.
Yeah.
Whereas Carrie Fisher's still, warm in the ground, mate. Like
it's not. Yeah.
No, you can't do it. It's too soon.
So I think, but to do it off screen would be a big slap in the face.
Absolutely. So something's got to happen.
It's going to be interesting. That's why I'm wondering if maybe, despite what they're saying, maybe Princess Leia will die in this next film in Last Jedi.
It would fit. Yeah. I feel it would fit. And then the third one is...
rather than having to deal with it in episode 9.
There's also a little bit of a handover thing, isn't there? Like, they kept talking about the new characters versus the old, and we want to make this the new generation Star Wars. So that's part of the reason why Han Solo was bumped off. That and Harrison Ford.
Well, he's wanted it for so long.
He's wanted it since Empire.
Yeah.
And he might not have been wrong, honestly.
Sorry?
He might not have been wrong about that. I watched back Jedi a little while ago, Return of the Jedi. He's not good in that. So if you watch it back, he is so bored. He's like, there's nothing compelling or dangerous about Han Solo at all in that movie.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but anyway, that is a topic for another day, so I'll keep that one dry. Let's talk theories.
Okay, well, we were talking about Snoke a little bit before. It was masked in a bit of mystery. We don't know sort of who he is or where he's from, but there are some theories out there.
Yes, my personal favourite. I told you this one a little while ago and blew your little mind. That Snoke is actually an acronym.
Okay.
Well, this is what the theory says.
Yeah.
And we should do a blanket apology, by the way, for a lot of these that we didn't come up with any of these theories that we're talking about.
Many people discuss them. It's hard to track down.
Exactly.
Where they originate from.
I'm just gonna credit Reddit.
Yeah.
Frankly,
the internet.
The internet. God bless the internet. So Snoke. There's a theory going out that Snoke is an acronym for Sith no one knew existed.
Yeah, okay.
Which I kind of like.
It sounds interesting. Although, I think the creators have come out and sort of said expressly that
he's not a
Sith. He's something completely different.
See, I like that too.
Yeah.
If he's going to be a Sith, okay, so be it. That's palatable. That's easy to understand. But I really like the idea of him just being some far removed agent that
even more powerful and sinister than the Sith.
Or he just filled this power vacuum that was there and took on the Apprentice and. Yeah, in Kylo Ren. There's something nice about that. I don't like the idea of everyone in Star Wars being related. Or,
we'll certainly get into that.
We will. You want to set me off.
I want you to touch into that.
You're going to tee me off on that topic, aren't you?
But obviously they could be lying to us when they say he's not a Sith. They could be lying to us. They say
lying. Hang on, lying or misdirecting?
Well, I mean, they say that they're not going to kill off Leia in this movie.
Yeah,
they say that Snoke's not a Sith. So they're saying things that could be... They have to outright lie to us because otherwise it's a spoil. That's right. Dance around the topic and say, maybe he's a Sith, maybe he's not. Yeah, then he's a Sith. You're going to say it that way. So they have to just outright lie to us.
Yeah, you're better off just coming out and saying something definitive.
Yeah.
And then backpedaling later.
Yeah, exactly.
What is it? It's easier to apologize than ask for forgiveness.
Yeah. And then that way you can say something really stupid like, I was right from a certain point of view.
Damn it, Obi-Wan. You're the real villain in those movies.
But the other theory, big theory for Snoke is that he is Darth Plagueis, who was Palpatine's master.
It's a hell of
Palpatine killed.
Yeah, but.
What are you going to say?
Yeah,
No,
I've genuinely forgotten. No, Plagueis had learned how to cheat death.
That's right.
So you can't kill someone that can influence midichlorians. Metachlorians. You can influence metachlorians to create life. I mean, this dude theoretically is immortal.
Yeah.
So.
And the Darth Plagueis is a mun, apparently, is a species.
Is that how it's pronounced?
So that's a very similar sort of grey skin, very tall, slender, long face, sort of similar to what Snoke looks like.
Well, but see, the thing is, I mean, that was easy to think at first because we saw the hologram of him. In the trailers, he looks like he's just human-sized, if not a bit shorter.
That's a weird angle. You talk about the shot where he's sort of holding Rey up.
Yeah.
It's a weird angle.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right. Well, we can go. I like the theory that he's actually Mace Windu.
You like that theory?
Oh, I mean, is an odd. I enjoy that theory. I also enjoy the theory that he's Vader, and that he somehow just didn't get burnt to a crisp.
Yeah,
and then has a different accent.
The one
and looks nothing like him. And
the one that I heard a little bit earlier that I wanted to throw at you was that he's the stormtrooper that bumped his head. He's got that cut there in A New Hope when the stormtrooper yep.
That's great. Wow, that must have hurt him a lot more than we thought.
Yeah,
that's one thing you've got to give the special editions credit for. They actually went back over that.
Put a noise
in when he hits. Credit where credit's due. That's good.
And then when George took it just a bit too far and made Jango Fett hit his head in Attack of the Clones.
I mean, I
so
like
it's like a genetic
but
thing.
I like the subtle nod to him hitting his head. I kind of get into that. Yeah. But you're right. When you really actually
just like hammer this home.
Just like the rest of that movie is as subtle as a sledgehammer though. Like that is easily the worst Star Wars movie.
I think I like the prequels in reverse order.
Okay, yeah.
3, 2, 1.
Yeah, two is a lot more painful for me.
Okay.
I can watch Empire, not Empire. What is it?
Phantom.
Thank you. I can watch Phantom and just go, God, this is boring. It's so dull. But if its only crime is being boring, that's one crime. But Attack of the Clones outright spits all over Star Wars lore and like tries to ruin Anakin Skywalker as a character. Like seemingly actively tries to destroy Darth Vader.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, that's not what we're talking about. Sorry. I don't know if you're going to go into this, but there's another character that's got a few theories floating around him as well. In Poe Dameron.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Sorry, I have gone off the reservation here.
No, that's cool. So you wanted me to, I was talking to you about this before, was that Poe could be related. Well,
yes. Yep.
So the idea, a very popular theory is that Rey is going to be a Skywalker. She's going to be Luke's daughter. That's what a lot of people think.
She's not.
But there's a theory that Rey's mother was named Shara Bay. She's a character in the comics, and I think maybe some of the books that are canonical stories now.
This is the theory, by the way. This is not... If you're listening going, oh my God, Rey's mother is... No, the theory goes that.
She is a character that, in the comics canonically,
yes,
that during the aftermath of Return of the Jedi, the elimination of the Empire, she was
Battle of Endor,
working with the rebels, and her and Luke rescued a Force tree, some fragments from a Force-sensitive tree. That's really hard to say.
That was English. You did well.
But some people theorize that... So Shara Bay, Poe's mother, had Poe with another man, but people theorize that Luke and Shara were quite close. Might have got intimate and had Rey.
So this theory says that Poe Dameron and Rey are actually half siblings.
Half siblings, yeah. So
which also in keeps with Star Wars, the idea of having a secret sister or a secret sibling and all this sort of stuff. And could even insinuate that Poe is Force sensitive.
Yeah, okay.
Which is kind of cool. Yeah. Me personally, I just like the idea of Poe being a badass.
Yeah, that'll do.
Leave him be. I'm also... This is touchy, the next one that I want to talk about. It's a bit... Because I got to phrase this in the right way. A lot of people talking about how Poe Dameron might be the first gay character in Star Wars.
Yeah, okay.
You know? If that's the case, fantastic. We've been very open about our views on that on this podcast.
Excellent result today. Just
Excellent,
really quickly.
Huge results.
Finally passed through both houses of Australian Parliament. We are getting legalised gay marriage.
Welcome to the 21st century, Australia.
About time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, all gay, lesbian listeners, friends of ours, we couldn't be happier for you.
Yeah.
Now go get married and live like stiffs like the rest of us. No, that's not fair. So if Poe is gay... No dramas.
Let it happen. Whatever.
Great. Diversity, natural character, great. Yep. What I don't like is the way that the internet reached the conclusion.
Okay.
So the theory sort of goes because he's like, Finn rocks up and he says, where were you? Oh, well, I woke up in the morning and the thing had crashed and there was no you and I had to leave. And, he was actually meant to die in that TIE fighter crash. But he was too good a character. And then he's all like, that's my jacket. And Finn goes to take off his jacket. He's like, no, keep it. Looks good on you.
Bites his lip.
Looks good on you. Shifts his weight. No. Like, he's just a suave, debonair guy.
Yeah.
And if that's your understanding of homosexuality, get out more. Do you know what I mean? Like, if that's, all gay men talk about clothes and love looking at other men wearing clothes.
Offering genuine compliments.
Exactly. Like, again, if he's gay, rock on.
Yeah.
If that's what you're basing the whole thing on, meet new people. You know, I'm sorry. I'm sure I've said to you before that you look good in clothing.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, because I'm a nice guy, or at least I like to think so. Like
most of the time. Yeah.
Most of the time. I can be okay. So that annoys me. And no, Finn and Poe shouldn't get together just because they're male friends in this. Let them, whatever. Yeah. Anyway, if they get together, great. If they genuinely fall in love and get together, awesome. You've got to find a way and make it work within the story.
I think we've realised that we could just go on for so long about some of these theories. We should maybe just wrap it up with one last one before we get into our discussions.
Yes.
I wanted to talk to you really quick about one that makes me so mad. This theory makes me so angry.
Yeah.
The idea that Kylo Ren is a double agent.
Yep.
So the idea is he's talking to Darth Vader's helmet and he says, help me to finish what you started.
Destroying all the Jedi.
Yeah, rather than being destroy all the Jedi, what he's talking about apparently is killing all the Sith, killing all the evil. Help me finish that because I'm actually good in secret. And the idea is that Luke apparently planted him into the First Order so that he could monitor Snoke. At the end of Force Awakens, when he's on the bridge with his father, Han Solo, he says, I know what I have to do, but you have to help me. And he's like, anything. Yeah. And then he kills him.
So Han performs Harry Carey on himself using his son's lightsaber.
He's just essentially killing himself so that Kylo Ren can get deeper into the First Order and keep up his
by putting his lightsaber deeper in his abdomen.
Yeah.
No.
None of that.
No, none of this makes any sense.
The worst theory. If that happens, I would be mad. I would be so angry if that's how they approach it, because there's just so many elements throughout Force Awakens that just make Kylo Ren such a compelling villain antagonist that if you were to do that, it would just undo the whole thing. It would ruin the whole character.
Exactly, it will. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, I watched a video on this. You might have linked it to me, and they compare it to like Snope.
Snope.
Jesus. What's his name? Harry Potter. Oh, I can see his face. The potions master. Snape.
Oh, I see what
Snape, Snoke. You can see what I... So the idea is that, Snape was the double agent the whole time.
Yeah, okay.
But he was menacing and evil the whole way, and like actually acted the goat the whole way through. Like, with this...
But he wasn't evil. He was just kind of...
Just dark, wasn't he? Just
aggressive and just not very nice.
Cruel.
Yeah.
He was cruel. Yeah, but he was a believable character and a well-rounded character. If you do this to Kylo Ren, he's not even fully formed as a character yet.
Yeah.
So you're going to get some really cool ideas of a character totally undermined by the outcome of the character. Yeah, I'm totally with you, dude. I could put up with a redemption story.
Yeah, which we might get. Or you said it would be really nice if they just kill him as a tragic character. That would be another great ending.
That's a very brutal way of putting it. But yes, absolutely.
Just let him not realize the error of his ways.
The guy's a tragedy.
And just
he's interesting as a tragedy.
Yeah.
Let him be a tragedy.
Yeah.
Like Rey can go through the journey and do the arc, and maybe at the end he can be all like, "Oh my god, I've been a fool," and die heroically. But you can't kill your own father on screen and have a happy ending.
I don't. Yeah.
You just can't. That's so disingenuous.
Yeah. So I think it'd be very interesting if they went that road.
Absolutely. No, it'd be terrible.
Shall we get into it?
Sure.
Kick things off.
Yeah, so do it, man.
So actually, turns out we're both coming into this episode with a theory on Rey's parentage.
Ding ding.
Obviously,
in the blue corner,
we have different theories. We're probably pretty attached to our own theories.
All I'll say is that one theory here is correct and the other one is incorrect.
We'll find out.
Well, would you like to start being
incorrect? So, look, it's going to be hard for us to sway one another, I think, given that we're both attached to our own theory.
Yeah.
But I think at the very least, I can convince you that my theory is highly plausible. Okay.
I could say the same thing about my theory.
Yeah. So that's what I'm going for.
No, I'm already taking a cynical attitude. I'm gonna be a real turd about this. I'm not gonna be good.
I believe that Rey is the daughter of Han and Leia.
Yeah, well, people believe weird things.
And sister to Ben Solo, aka Kylo Ren. All right, so credit where credit is due. I did get some of this evidence from the film theorists on YouTube. They did a video recently about this.
They've done a few good ones.
But I mean, some of the points they mentioned I had already noticed on my own, and I even have a few extra things that they didn't touch on.
Yep.
I want to start off with a quote from Kathleen Kennedy during a 2015 interview.
How good's Kathleen Kennedy?
She's On the ball.
What a genius.
She's brought this whole thing together, really.
Hasn't she?
This is how we have the sequels.
She's Star Wars' Feige type. Yeah.
Exactly right.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry, go on. Yeah.
So she said in a 2015 interview, the saga films focus on the Skywalker family saga. The stories follow a linear narrative that connects to the previous 6 films. The Force Awakens follows Return of the Jedi and continues the generational story. So it's a generational story, the Skywalker family saga. So I think this means that a new character in these movies is related to that family. So if it's Rey, if Rey's the character that's related to the Skywalker family, that leaves us with 2 options. Rey could be the daughter of Luke. That's a very popular theory. This does make sense. She shares a similar sort of backstory. His lightsaber even calls to her. Mm-hmm. It's a popular and obvious choice, but I think it's too obvious.
Yeah. I'll agree with you on that. It's too obvious.
So the other way that this sequel trilogy could remain a story of the Skywalker family is if Rey is the daughter of Leia and thus still granddaughter of Anakin Skywalker. Okay? This explains where she gets her Force powers from, her mother. Mm-hmm. She's also a natural pilot, like her grandfather, but also like her father, Han. Yeah? Okay. In episode 7, Han and Rey, they immediately share a father-daughter type connection. He looks at her almost with familiarity throughout the film, I think.
Oh, I want to rebut. Oh, can I? Because you're halfway through it. I don't want to be that guy, but I will. No, he looks at her with familiarity, probably because he recognizes her from the Jedi Academy.
Maybe. So I'm going to get into that, though.
Okay, all right, good. Okay. And he, what was the other thing you said about the other wrong thing you said? The other falsehood you were spouting. About.
I'm going to carry on.
Just go. Sorry. Yeah.
So look,
you're wrong, James.
See, this connection to Han would also make it very appropriate that Rey has seemingly inherited the Millennium Falcon. Seemingly.
Okay.
Yeah. In his interrogation of her, Kylo Ren says that Han is like the father she never had. He would have disappointed you, he says. It's past tense. Would have. Like if circumstances were different, Rey would have known Han as a father.
No, it's just grammar, James. It's just grammar.
During this entire come on, you got to.
No, go on. I'm sorry.
During this entire interrogation, Kylo Ren seems nervous. He should be completely in control of the situation, at least until Rey turns the tables on him. But from the start, it's almost like there's something weighing on his mind. Maybe he doesn't know for certain that Rey is his sister, but he could be potentially sensing some connection. Mm-hmm. Right from the start, he's nervous. He's just not as menacing as he should be.
And then he takes his helmet off, and I thought Star Wars was ruined forever.
And this bond might further explain why it was so easy for Rey to get into Kylo's mind. I think story-wise, it would be compelling for brother and sister to go head-to-head, much like father and son in the original trilogy, one trying to redeem the other. We know there's going to be a conflict between the two of them, and siblings just work so much better than cousins or even nobodies, you know?
Yeah, okay.
Now, Rey, she also inherited the lightsaber of Luke and Anakin Skywalker. It called to her. I think this is because it belongs in the family. It was her grandfather's, then her uncle's, and now it's in her possession. Okay. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if you remember very well the photo from the Force Awakens table read when that was in production.
Yeah. There was that iconic black and white one where they're all in a round, surrounded by like boxes and.
Exactly right. Yeah, R2's in the corner. Yeah.
That's yeah.
Basically, the idea when you do a table read, they tend to be structured so that actors are seated next to the people who their characters share the strongest relationships with. All right. And Mark Hamill even said that for this reading, seating was assigned. Okay? It may be just anecdotal, but I still think it's worth highlighting. So Mark Hamill isn't seated next to Daisy Ridley, the only person he shares a scene with.
Yeah, okay, yep.
Daisy's on the completely other side of the room, other side of the table read, in between Harrison Ford and Carrie Fisher. No big deal. She shares a lot of scenes with Harrison. But why isn't Harrison next to Carrie? Daisy's smack dab in the middle.
Because they're divorced.
But why?
There's separation between them.
But why not go like Harrison, Peter Mayhew, Carrie?
Well, because there's always been platonic father figures through Star Wars, though. You look at Obi-Wan and Luke, for example. You look at
it makes sense.
Ben and Beru Lars.
It makes sense for her to be next to Harrison. It just doesn't make sense for her to be in between the two of them.
Oh, it shows separation between the two of them. Go on.
So, furthermore, Carrie Fisher's daughter, Billie Lourd, she stars as a Resistance lieutenant in The Force Awakens.
Does she?
But she originally auditioned for the role of Rey. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
That'd be an ideal way to highlight a family resemblance.
Yeah, that'd be
Though-
too on the nose.
Perhaps, yeah, the casting directors decided this would be just a little bit too much, on the nose.
Does she act? Is she in other things?
I think so.
Yeah?
I think she might have been in Scream Queens, that sort of short-lived horror comedy series
Never
from the
heard
guy
of
that did
Yeah,
Glee.
imagine being the daughter of Carrie Fisher
Yeah.
and trying to get by in Hollywood. You're typecast before you even
I
walk
think
in.
so, yeah.
That's no easy gig. Sorry.
But yeah, so she was up for the role of Rey. Again, could have been too on the nose. In terms of the casting decision they did make, oh my God, Daisy looks like Padme. Looks so much like Padme.
I just think Star Wars has a type when they're recruiting women.
Okay.
They want athletic brunettes.
Brunette. Fair enough.
Yeah.
So something pretty major happens at the end of Force Awakens.
Yep.
After the destruction of Starkiller Base,
Yes.
Leia walks right past Chewbacca to hug Rey.
Yep.
This upset a lot of fans who pointed out that Leia's known Chewbacca for decades.
Mm.
After the death of Han, surely Leia and Chewie would want to console one another.
Yeah.
Instead, she hugs Rey, who she has never met before.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
Okay? It's stupid. It's a massive oversight
Hang
by the
on. What?
writers.
Never met?
They
Hang on.
never met. Before she gets taken on, I can't remember the name of the planet, she gets taken by Kylo before Leia even shows up. When
Yeah.
she's coming back to
Yeah.
the base, that's because she's been rescued. They have never met. How awkward is that hug?
Okay. All right. You're still wrong, but
That hug is awkward.
I hadn't thought of that. I never realized that. Wow. Okay.
So, yeah, massive oversight by the writers. What if it
Yes.
was completely intentional?
No.
What if-
there's mistakes in Star Wars?
What if deep down Leia senses that Rey is her long-lost daughter? So this embraces...
I think she just watched the whole thing happen. Like her force powers have often been talked about how she's not like Luke. Like it's not a physical sort of nature of her power. It's very emotional and premonition based and very intuitive. She has great powers of intuition. So there's a chance that she just sort of felt the pain of Han dying and then watched the whole thing from there go down.
Okay, well, the screenplay even offers a bit of additional evidence to this,
Oh,
okay?
no. Okay. All right.
So the screenplay says, okay,
Oh, God, okay.
the two women move for each other,
Mhm.
and Leia takes Rey's face in her hands. Despite her heartbreak, she is grateful. She embraces Rey. A mother's embrace.
Could still be platonic. Could still be platonic. Because and there's also an element of, oh God, my son is truly lost to me now. This poor girl was there and fought him and loved Han and you know.
I think it's still...
All right, okay, all right.
So off the back of all that sort of evidence, I actually have a theory that story-wise that would support all this. It would answer many of the questions such as why Rey was on Jakku and how she's so powerful in the Force without any training. Mm-hmm. So Han and Leia, they may have hidden Rey away to protect her after Ben's fall to the dark side. It's possible.
Yep.
But I suspect they didn't even know she was still alive. Okay? I think Rey, like her brother, was being trained by Luke. This explains her power. She has had training. Not extensive training, but it's something. And maybe over time she's forgotten. Maybe she had her memory wiped or blocked. But over the course of episode 7, Rey's had an awakening.
I see.
So Rey was training with Luke when Kylo turned to the dark side and attacked the Jedi Temple with the Knights of Ren. Luke could have saved his niece, hidden her away on Jakku before fleeing into exile. But personally, I like the idea that it was Kylo who placed her on the desert planet with the unkeepable promise that he would return. So a little bit of shakiness.
Kylo Ren did this.
So a little bit of shakiness to the theory in terms of age and the timeline. Some sources say that Ben Solo is 10 years older than Rey, with the two being 29 and 19 respectively during The Force Awakens. Mm-hmm. However, in a recent interview, Adam Driver said that he is playing Kylo Ren as younger than his actual age, being 34. Adam Driver's 34.
Yep.
So Kylo Ren's younger than that. But he said to say exactly how old the character is might give too much away.
Okay.
That suggests that there may still be some doubt over the exact ages of these characters. I think we can agree that Rey looks to be about 5 or 6 when she's left on Jakku in her vision, yeah?
Yep. It's actually really hard. This is the thing I've noticed with movies, that it's very hard to pick a child's age.
Yeah.
Because they, very few actors actually act their age in movies. You get someone to act down. You always get someone acting down. But yes, I will agree
so
that
she looks
7 at the oldest.
So let's say around that sort of mark. So if she's somewhere between 17 and 20 during episode 7, this means that it's been about 12 to 15 years since the since the temple was attacked and Rey was abandoned.
Yep.
Okay.
If he was 18 when he did all that.
Yeah, so if Kylo's younger than 34, we're saying at least 10 years older than Rey.
Yep.
He could have been anywhere between 15 and 22.
Yep.
Right? So maybe he was on the younger side of that scale. I don't think it completely derails the theory. We know very little about the Knights of Ren. Perhaps at 15, Kylo wasn't the master of the Knights. He was just a newly turned dark side user being accompanied on his first big mission, which was just to destroy his uncle's temple and slaughter the Jedi. So he's been assigned to the Knights of Ren, but he hasn't moved up the ranks yet.
Yeah. Do you reckon, just on a tangent, they've not explained what the Knights of Ren are, have they? That's not...
Not at all. No.
So I'm keen to find out more about them. Yeah. I just quietly, I think they're like Snoke's henchmen.
Yeah.
And he brought them...
And well, I'm hoping we see more of them and what they do. And
Yeah. But I just quietly, I think he's brought them with him and then got... And like that's how he dragged Kylo in. He's like, become one of my knights.
Yeah,
So that's where he took the name Ren. Anyway, sorry, go on.
Look, in any case, I think the Knights attacked the temple, killing all of the students except for one. Kylo couldn't bring himself to kill his sister. Okay. So he whisked her off. He hid her away, leaving his parents to think that their daughter had been murdered as well. When advised that Finn and BB-8 were accompanied by a girl in their escape from Jakku, Kylo becomes infuriated. He demands to know what girl.
Yes.
In a way that implies he knows of a girl on Jakku.
Yeah.
And is fearful that girl could be the one that's helping them.
Okay.
And when Rey meets Luke on Acto at the end, the island.
Yep. We're going to
he,
see a lot more of that in this next one. Yep.
He looks at her with recognition. Like they've met before.
Oh, yeah, they know each other.
He knows who she is.
Yes.
Or at least he can sense it. So, I think he was training her. And, I think that Kylo actually couldn't bring himself to kill her. Tucked her away on Jakku. In Rey's Force vision, you remember she sees the Knights of Ren in what appears to be a flashback to the attack on the temple.
Yeah, some have hinted that it could be a flash forward.
Potentially, yeah.
I think it's a flashback, but anyway.
So this flashback, it could be that it actually occurs from Rey's perspective because she was there at the attack on the temple. Okay.
Yep.
In the vision, there's also a person who's impaled by Kylo right in front of Rey.
Yep.
It almost seems like this person's going to attack Rey, which has led some people to theorize that this was potentially one of the Knights of Ren going to attack Rey, and Kylo stepped in to rescue her.
Sure.
I don't know how much I believe that. Like the guy, he's wearing like an interesting helmet. It's not like a full mask like the other Knights.
He's also very human.
Yeah.
That guy.
You see a lot of his human. They just don't. They all wear
but
masks,
are they though? We don't know.
Well,
they're all masked.
But they're all masked. He's not masked. He has his helmet thing on top. And I mean, surely the other Knights wouldn't have let Kylo leave Rey alive. They wouldn't have let him save her.
No.
Nevertheless, it's kind of a little fun idea to entertain.
Sure.
So I know this little bit is probably grasping at straws. There's a line that Kylo has prior to the lightsaber battle on Starkiller Base. He confronts Rey and Finn in the forest after the death of Han Solo. And with the way the scene is cut, it feels like this line is delivered directly to Rey, not to the pair of them, not to Rey and Finn, just at Rey. He says, "It's just us now. Han Solo can't save you." It sounds like he's saying, it's just you and me. You know, just we're the only ones left type thing, you know? So I'm just going to wrap this up with a quote from the trailer from The Last Jedi.
Okay.
So it seems like Rey is incredibly powerful, and this scares Luke. And he says, I've seen this raw strength only once before. It didn't scare me enough then. It does now.
Yeah.
I think he's pretty clearly referring to his nephew and former student.
100%, yeah.
This raw strength that he saw and should have been afraid of, well, it's only natural that Kylo's sister would have that strength as well.
Okay, yeah.
So, Damon, are you convinced? Do you think it's plausible that Rey could be the daughter of Han and Leia?
No, because she's a Kenobi.
Okay, if you're going to approach it that way, then I'm not giving you anything.
No, you've made some very good points and some that I've not considered. I will hand you that.
So plausible.
Plausible.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, but if you're going to play it that way, and just be all like, mine's just plausible.
Well, I think we had to. I mean, because otherwise she would have just gone, no, she's a Kenobi.
True, yeah.
You know.
Do you know, one thing I will say is that come Force Awakens, when it Last Jedi, when it's actually revealed, it's got to be this one.
Yeah.
It's got to be this movie.
I think so.
Come that time, when it's revealed, half of the cinema is going to stand up and turn to the other half of the cinema and shout, "Ha! Told you!
Told you she was Mace Windu's daughter."
Oh, we were going to talk about. We didn't. I ran over time. Finn being Mace Windu's son.
Orlando's because they're the only two black guys.
Unbelievable. The internet. Get your act together. Okay.
What do you got, Damon?
All right. What have I got?
I'm gonna be open-minded, just so you know.
Shut up! Don't play that card. Don't do that. Scruffy-looking nerf herder.
Hey, who you calling scruffy?
All right, I'll be brutally honest off the back. I have not gone as in depth as you have, so mine might be mercifully short.
All right.
But anyway, so I firmly believe she's Kenobi.
Okay.
I think
you're wrong.
There's many. I see what you're doing, and I don't like it. She's. I wish I could say, be more like me. Wait for the arguments. No, I'm pretty sure I attacked right off the back. Okay, so Daisy Ridley herself has hinted at very few things towards the identity of Rey and the parentage of Rey. But some of the things she has said can provide little clues towards a lineage. So one of her quotes, when asked in an interview about her lineage, she says, "I'm not sure how much I can say. I guess because I've said that I'm solitary, that's how I begin. That is probably a big clue to what it is," referring to her lineage. So you break it down. I'm not sure how much I can say, obviously. I've said that I'm solitary. That's how I begin. That is probably a big clue. Now, a lot of people have taken that in a lot of different ways.
Solo?
No, yeah. Now, others have construed that the word solitary might be a reference to solo, but it really means alone. It was in the script, solo. James. I preempted you. I got your attack and I twisted it. Hoist on your own petard, nerf herder. Just like Obi-Wan was as Luke was raised on Tatooine. Okay, so they're
Luke,
both
just so you know, he was sort of solitary. I mean, he had his uncle.
Well, that's the third argument in the room that her reveal very much mirrors Luke in a lot of ways, and we can't avoid that. That's fair. I just don't like it.
Too obvious.
I don't like the theory.
Too obvious.
And Luke's tormented and battle scarred. I don't think he's going to play happy houses.
Yeah.
You know. Anyway. Whatever. While isolated and alone, like her grandfather, she dresses in a similar style in those desert robes and a hood. These closely resemble Obi-Wan's, both in later Tatooine years and in the early years when he was a Padawan. The cut of the shirt and the belt that they wear are almost identical. This may be down to him being a Jedi and her being a practical a scavenger, but there are compelling reasons to assume the clothes insinuate a link. Firstly, Star Wars has always had a history of using clothing, and in particular colours, to hint at a character's motivation or dispositions. You look at A New Hope, where Darth Vader walks in the room. He's a bad guy.
Yeah. Straight
up a bad guy. You look at Luke. He's dressed in white, pure and innocent. Yeah. Then you look at Han Solo, and he's wearing a black vest. He's neither. He sort of sits on the fence. Yeah. He's good and he's bad.
Actually, sorry, just really quick. They did in Return of the Jedi. Luke's wearing black because you're supposed to think he's turned evil.
Go. That's
and
right.
then towards the end, the flap falls down at the front.
It does. It
reveals the light side.
That's very true. Yeah. And interestingly, too, Han wears white as well. He doesn't wear the vest.
And Lando wears his jacket. Like, what's with that?
What's with that? No, because he didn't have a change of clothes.
The only clothes on the
That's the only clothes on the ship. Exactly. Yeah. They were probably Lando's clothes to begin with because that was his ship. Let's be honest.
They were playing some sort of like chess match or something, and that's how he won the Millennium Falcon. And there's just Lando in the nude watching the ship fly off. Just like, damn you!
Lando's going double or nothing and starts taking his clothes off.
You know that's why when he walks into Empire, he's just like, after the stunt you pulled leaving me in the nude,
leaving him nude on some presumably very public landing platform. Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah, Billy D. Williams, coolest man in the universe. Where the hell was I?
On your wrong tangent.
Oh, shush. Stop it. Yeah, here we go. Okay. So we see Rey as a very young girl. We can't really get a fix on her age. We talked about that on Jakku. Presumably, she's dropped off by her parents. I actually think she's dropped off by Luke.
Okay.
After the destruction of the center.
Yeah. So we're in agreement here. We think she's been trained. You and I both.
Yeah.
Think she was.
I think she's at least been at the academy. I think she's shown Force abilities.
Yep.
They've dropped her off to Luke because that's where you take them.
Yep.
You know, I think even at an early age, she would have showed great Force potential.
Yep.
And then Kylo has his little emo phase.
Tanty.
Yeah, has this big tanty. And there's even clips that insinuate that we're going to get another flashback in.
I've heard that this new movie's very flashback heavy. Actually, I don't know if I like that, but
I don't know. We've got to wait and see.
Yeah.
We've learned the hard way about judging Star Wars movies before they come out. We all have, so we just need to be patient. There's obviously a flashback to when Luke crawls out of the rubble. So my theory is that he's going to find the one sole survivor, which was a small carrying young girl hiding away in the rubble.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe even using her first force powers to sort of protect herself in some way.
Yep.
So in that force back, we see her on Jakku being held by Simon Pegg. I can't think of the character, so he's just
Unkar Plot.
Thank you, Plot. Yep. She's wearing the exact same clothes. Now, you could argue that her parents or Luke were dressing her in preparation to be a Jedi.
Yep.
You could argue that she dresses like that because she's scavenging parts from Star Destroyers. I think she's dressed like that because it's a bit of a family tradition.
Okay.
A bit of a nod, you know. Oh, you're going to be a Jedi just like your grandfather. Let's dress her in the same cut, you know. Another visual clue is the link made between the two iconic fights between the Skywalkers and Kenobis.
Okay,
The first one being Anakin and Obi-Wan fighting over lava in the third prequel. I can't even think of the title of it. Doesn't matter.
Revenge of the Sith.
It doesn't matter. They're not good movies. They're not good. And the second being Kylo and Rey's fight in the last good movie. Now, Danny Salemi from Screen Rant, I read his article, fantastic article. As he says, fire and ice contrast. So there's that great iconic shot of Anakin and Obi-Wan leaning into each other with the lightsabers, and then there's Rey and Kylo leaning into each other with lightsabers, and it's fire and ice contrasting and rhyming each other. She's also the only character of note in The Force Awakens to have a British accent.
Okay, but could that be because Unkar Plot does, the person that raised her?
I said of note, and she is shouting, "Come back, come back!" She's practically Liverpudlian when she's shouting it on the planet. That's the only English accent I can do. So Mom, Dad, come back, pick me up from Jakku. So there's my accent for the week. She even acts in a similar manner to Obi-Wan. People have drawn comparisons between a young Obi-Wan who's cool, calm, but still a badass, still prone to lashing out and speaking their mind. Now, the obvious question surrounding all this is, well, if Obi-Wan is her grandfather, who are her parents? Well, J.J. Abrams has already stated pretty clearly. Do you want to sit down for this or do you want me to smack you down with some knowledge? All right, fine, stay standing. J.J. Abrams has already stated pretty clearly that Rey's parents are not in The Force Awakens.
Again, I think they're just lying to us about a whole lot of things.
Damn, I wish we didn't have that discussion earlier. That rules out every Star Wars character except for Lando. That's the only thing ruling out Lando.
Yeah, because you get Obi-Wan's voice in Force Awakens, so it can't be him.
I was like, I'm about to... But his voice, not his character. So her parents remain a mystery, but the creation of those parents are also a mystery, but perhaps not for long. Disney has hinted at an Obi-Wan film for years, a standalone Obi-Wan film, from the time they announced the anthology films. Fans, critics, and even Ewan McGregor, who is the perfect age to play Obi-Wan in these exiled years, have been supportive of the project. I would argue that as soon as we learn of Rey's links to Obi-Wan, we will also learn of a Kenobi film due to be released. That'll explain her backstory. The last piece of evidence I will use is the famous Force Back sequence, where Rey witnesses the destruction of the Jedi Temple, she sees the woods in which she's about to battle Kylo Ren, and many other things. All the while, she hears voices. The voices include Yoda and Luke, but the most prominent and loudest, and the only one to use her name, is that of Obi-Wan, who then tells her these are your first steps. I would go...
there's a bunch of voices. It doesn't mean anything. I think it's just generally the Force talking to her as a whole.
I was waiting for you
You hear Darth Vader breathing as well, so you know.
I was waiting for you to say, we all hear voices. Shush you.
Not now.
I didn't speak. I would go as far to say that we are due a visit from the old Alec Guinness Force Ghost at some point as well, brought back with the use of CGI altering original footage.
Actually,
I think that'd be
interesting because people are theorizing that they could just do it with Ewan McGregor and just explain that he just appears how he wants to appear.
Oh, okay, that could work.
Yeah.
Well, that's because they used Alec Guinness's original voice. They used Ewan McGregor's voice.
Yep.
Really clever how they did Alec Guinness.
Yeah, they took from afraid.
They
the
did.
Word afraid. Yeah.
Yeah, and they managed to just sort of twist it. Yeah. So the other reason why I feel like the reason why he's communicating with her, this may work a little bit against me, but it's just a common sense thing to talk about. So far, to our knowledge, he Obi-Wan is the only Force ghost that we've been exposed to. So
What
it
do you
makes sense. Well, he's the only one that's had a great... I mean, we saw Yoda and we saw Darth Vader at the end. Yeah. But he's the only one that's actually played, from death, the only one that's played a significant part in the plot of the movies.
Yeah.
So we could argue that he's just appearing now again to help this young Jedi. But I feel he's got an investment in it.
Yeah.
James, is it at least plausible that she's Kenobi?
It's plausible.
Yeah, there we go.
It's plausible. But I want to... So...
Let's both reveal what we actually want out of her.
I want it to be a solo, yeah.
You do want it to be a solo.
I want that to be the case.
That backfired. Because I honestly want her. I think this is the case. I think she's a Kenobi.
Yeah,
And, okay, realistically could also be a solo.
Yeah.
Honestly, truthfully, heart of my heart, I want her to be a no one.
Yeah.
I want her to not be connected.
But I think, I understand your argument there, certainly. But I think we have to go back to that Kathleen Kennedy quote, that discussion that this is a Skywalker story. This is a generational story. So if she's a nobody, somebody else is a somebody, you know?
Yeah, I get that.
You know what I mean?
Yes, but we've got the continuation of the solo story with Kylo Ren.
Yeah, I guess.
I know he's a solo, but he's still also a Skywalker to an extent as well. And
in the same way that Rey would be.
Yeah. And I've also, I mean, I haven't got anything to back this up, but I've read and I've heard things that insinuate, at least from the early drafts, they wanted Leia to be a far more prevalent character in these movies.
Okay.
Politically active, involved in the new formation of the new galaxy, the Resistance, they call it now. So, and Luke was just going to be that strange old hermit in these ones, go more down the religious route. So, if she's now the prevalent Skywalker in these movies, then we've got a prevalent Skywalker in her son as well, acting out and being the evil one. So there's kind of also then that fire and ice and that dichotomy between the Kenobis, who have also been, since, I can't believe I'm about to do this, since The Phantom Menace, when Obi-Wan should have been the main character, but that was just a bad movie. They're all bad, James. They're bad movies.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan should have been the main character throughout that whole thing. Yeah. And there's a case to be made that his arc through those prequels is just as noticeable and just as dramatic as Anakin's arc through those as well. And he's the one that then suffers through the main trilogy as well as Darth Vader, because he's then, all the way up until Jedi, he's trying to move pieces and to influence people to finally destroy the Sith. Yeah. Even if, as we now know, watching back, he practically destroyed Luke by doing it.
Yeah.
It's a really interesting take that Obi-Wan's actually a bastard.
Okay, so with your little theory there, so let's sort of think about the timeline here, all right? So Luke's 20 odd when they go.
I really hate it when you do more research than me. I really do.
Yeah, when A New Hope starts, he's late teens, early 20s, right?
Yes.
This child of Obi-Wan's must be young, like within that 20-year bracket, yeah?
Yeah.
So that's a son or a daughter of Obi-Wan that then goes on to give birth to Rey, right?
Yep,
okay.
Yep. There's plenty of scope in there. That works.
20 years. I just wonder, given that attachment is against the Jedi code, it's against their religion.
The Jedi aren't a thing anymore.
But he's still a Jedi.
He says in the first one, now the Jedi are all but extinct.
All but extinct. He's still a handful.
Yeah, but he doesn't. He looks back to a bygone age. Yeah, but in name and in belief only, I think.
Yeah, but so he still believes it. He still believes the code.
No, but
do you think after just witnessing how attachment just.
Whoa!
Do you think after just witnessing?
Okay.
Do you? I almost want to leave it in.
First F-bomb.
I almost want to leave it in.
We've gone 12 episodes and that's our first F-bomb. We've been so good.
That was great.
And it was over Star Wars. Okay, all right, compose yourself. I know, just leave it.
So, I mean, after witnessing what happened with his very close friend, practically brother to him, Anakin,
with his
getting involved, having attachments, and how that turned out for him.
Yeah.
Which is a rubbish reasoning for him falling to the,
Yes. Okay, but all of this can be explained away very simply. George Lucas is a terrible storyteller and even worse director.
But it's against the Jedi Code.
Oh, shut up about the damn Jedi Code. I don't want to hear about midichlorians either. Like growing up as a kid, I liked the idea that anyone who tried or who was in tuned enough could become a Jedi. Yeah. No, now it's a birthright.
Okay, yeah, it's genetic.
Daft. I hated it. Hate them.
Well,
where do we go from here? This is.
I don't know. Where do we go? We wait a week. And we watch The Last Jedi, and then maybe we yell at each other some more. Just
don't do it in the cinema, please. That'd be awful.
So it'll be very interesting if next week one of us comes to the other and just goes,
ha! Just points in their face for a while. I'm not confident enough to put a bet on it either.
No,
just quietly, because
so
unfortunately, there's what I want and what I, in my heart of hearts, know Star Wars will do.
What do you think Star Wars will do?
I think it'll be a Solo.
You think?
Yeah.
What do you think about Skywalker? Do you think it's just outright too?
No, too obvious. It's either too obvious or it's too on the nose. That and what's her name? Is it Maz Kanata?
Maz Kanata, yep.
When she's talking about the Force back, she goes, sweet girl, I know what you want. You think going back to Jakku or whatever, she goes, but in your heart of hearts, no one's coming back.
That person isn't coming back.
That person isn't coming back for you.
But there is somebody that could.
And she goes, Luke.
Yeah.
Luke is a different person to who
she was describing.
Yeah. So, that blows. I said before, I think Luke dropped her off.
Yeah.
I still think that can be the case. I think she's referring to the people that removed her from their lives, like cut her away.
And that works with what I was saying, I think Kylo could have left her there.
Yeah,
unable to kill her, and then
but I think
he's not coming back.
She says it in a mournful sort of tone. Whoever these people are either dead and gone, or they are not going to bring her into this.
Yeah.
And I think that... Plus, I'm sorry, Han Solo would remember her and recognize her.
But no, she was young. She was 5 or 6, and he thinks she's dead. That's my. That's
but then
where
Leia's also Force sensitive. She would have
sensed it and gone to hug her at the end of Force Awakens.
Are you convinced by our arguments? Do you think Rey is the daughter of Han, the sister of Kylo Ren? Could she be related to Obi-Wan? Do you have your own theory?
Come on, if you're gonna do that, if you're gonna steal my bit, look, audience, are you convinced by arguments? Do you think that Rey is the daughter of Han and Leia, the sister of Kylo Ren? Could she be related to Obi-Wan Kenobi? We're talking granddaughter here.
I think I did that better.
Yeah? No, yours was just very rushed and plain. And do you have your own theory about Rey's parentage? Do you get as worked up as we do? Do you have theories about the Star Wars sequels in general? What would you like to see happen in The Last Jedi? Let us know in the comments or on our social media accounts.
Hit us up on Twitter and Instagram at jamesiswrongandisannoying.com. Or at Are You Convinced? Search Are You Convinced on Facebook, or hit up www.facebook.com/Are You Convinced.podcast.
If you're going to jump on Twitter, use the hashtag Damon is wrong.
Well done, touche. If you're going to jump on YouTube, it's very, very important that you type in beforehand "Wrong Theories About Rey's Parentage" by James Van Schoonhoven.
And you'll also get Damon's as a result.
But you should also type podcast if you're searching for us on YouTube. We have a Patreon.
We do.
Give us money.
Yes, please. I'm still working. I'm really bad at this. I did have a little reward coming for people for the beer episode.
Still coming.
There's video footage of that, so that should come up shortly. That'll be to people that donate to our Patreon. So if you want to do that, patreon.com/areyouconvinced. Anything you contribute means the world to us. It helps us keep this thing going.
I think I said it a couple of weeks ago. If money you wouldn't mind losing on the street.
Yeah.
That will help us.
That'll be fantastic. If you are enjoying the podcast, the least you could do, leave us a review on iTunes. That helps. That goes a long way as well.
That goes a very long way. Please do. Drop us a line too if you like what we're doing. Let us know if you see us in person, Facebook, all the socials. Just tell us.
Don't argue with us about Star Wars. We get really worked up.
Apparently, yeah, you proved that today too. Wow. We have one rule on this podcast. You nearly broke it then.
We're in December, Damon, and it's the time of giving.
Or do you think we're in September?
And being nice to people and spreading love and joy because it's almost Christmas.
Yep. Yes, it is almost Christmas.
Yeah.
There's no way we can disagree on that. It legit is nearly
Are
Christmas.
you convinced? Next week's topic. In light of that, we're going to talk about Christmas traditions.
Great Christmas traditions from around the world. The one I'm thinking of is, I love it.
Yeah, let's get into that next week.
It's a cool one. Yeah, we won't give away anything.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
But that's what we're going to be talking about next week. Thank you so much for listening this week. We hope you tune in again. Convince your friends to listen.
Absolutely. Before we go, James, do you mind if I just jump in a little bit?
Oh, yeah, go for it.
I've just got just a couple of personal things that I'd like to throw out there. First one, my research was pretty lacking this week. I had a death in the family. Don't want to dwell on that too much. This isn't about me. This is about the podcast and you guys and you, James. But it was hard. Nana went last Monday. Had the funeral day before recording. I bring up the funeral because we asked those that came to donate to perhaps her favourite charity. She had a few. Her favourite charity was Beyond Blue. So I'd very much just like to just send a bit of a shout out to Beyond Blue. And if you feel like doing a good thing today, if you don't want to donate to our Patreon, do that still. If you can send a bit of love to Beyond Blue as well, that'd be fantastic. We'd really appreciate it.
Well said.
Thank you.
Well said, man.
Thanks, mate.
But on that note, thank you so much. So much for listening. We hope to catch you next week.
Yeah, convince your friends, convince your family, convince your pets, and we'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, guys.